Let us now move on to the practical realization of superposition theorem. So let us say that this is our given circuit. So you all must be seeing a visible difference in this diagram as compared to previous two experiments. What is that difference? That difference is that this circuit comprises of two sources. So obviously your superposition theorem would only be applicable whenever there are more than one sources in the circuit. Alright. And our superposition theorem states that in a linear bilateral network containing more than one source, the current flowing through any branch is the algebraic sum of current flowing through that branch by considering only one source at a time. So let us assume that there are two sources in our circuit and we'll be taking their effect on this branch, meaning that we'll be calculating or we'll be seeing the effect on this branch one by one, once for source V1 and at another time for source V2, meaning our objective in this experiment would be to calculate the current flowing through this resistor in case when both the voltage sources are working, secondly when only V1 is working, and thirdly when only V2 is working. So before moving on to the exact working procedure, there are certain initial steps which we also performed in previous experiments, which were identification of these three resistances. So I need to identify what are their values. Okay, so for doing so I have used multimeter rather than color coding, and I have gotten the values as R1 is approximately 148 ohm, R2 is approximately 217 ohm, and your R3 is approximately 235 ohms. Alright, and in the similar manner I'll have to identify as to how much voltage I am giving to the circuit, and for doing so what I am going to do is I am going to simply connect a voltmeter in parallel with these two sources and get its reading. So in this manner I'll be connecting my 2 voltmeters. Let me show you onto the circuit. Fine, this is resistance R1 which is connected here, this is resistance R2 which is connected here, and this is resistance R3 which is connected here. You can clearly see that one end of V1 is going to R1 which is somewhere here, and another end of V1 is going to R2 which is connected here. Alright. As far as V2 is considered, V2 one end positive end of V2 is going to where R3 is connected, somewhere here, and negative end is connected to this end. Alright. So a question might occur to you that how is it possible that we are getting two voltage source? So this project board has the provision of dual sources. Alright, so this is one source and this is another source, so we are using both the sources in this case, and in previous experiments we were only using single sources. After connecting multimeter across my voltage V1, I am getting voltage reading approximately 5 volts. So I'll write it down as I am giving V1 as 4.97 volts. Alright, as far as V2 is considered, when I connected my multimeter across voltage V2, I am getting a reading of approximately 10 volts. So I'll write down my V2 is approximately 10.1 8 volts. Okay, so I'll be using these two values of voltage sources for my reading number 1. As we discussed earlier, what we are going to do is we are going to consider this branch AB. Okay, so in step number 1, what I am doing is I am calculating as to how much current is flowing through this branch, meaning as to how much current is flowing through R2 when both the sources are active. So let me denote it as capital I. Alright, so this would be my capital I, and capital I is somewhat 22.1 milliamperes. Okay, so I'll note it down. My V1 was around 4.97 volts. My V2 was around 10.18 volts, and my I, which is the current when both the sources are active, turns out to be how much? 22.1 milliamperes. Going on to the next step. So in this case, what I am going to do is I am going to activate only source number 1, that is only V1, and I am going to replace the other source by its internal resistance. Therefore, I have short circuited this voltage source, which was V2. Alright. So in this case also I am going to find out as to how much current is flowing through this branch, or you can say as to how much current is flowing through resistance R2, and let me label it as I1 so that there is no confusion. When both the sources were activated, I have labeled that current as capital I, but in this case I have labeled it as capital I1. Fine. So turning on the supply, I'll be getting, I have connected a ammeter in series with resistance R2 here. You can clearly see here, and I am getting a current of approximately 9.5 milliamperes. So under I1 column, I have mentioned 9.5 milliampere. So once again, let me repeat it for you. What is I1? I1 is that current when only source V1 was activated. So moving on to the next case where I am only activating source number 2 and suppressing my source number 1. How I am suppressing it? I am suppressing it by replacing it with short circuit. Alright, so in this case also I will be calculating as to how much current is going in this branch, but I will denote it with I2. So I2 is which current? I2 is the current in branch AB or across branch R2 when only source V2 was activated. So for doing so, what I have done here is I have connected my ammeter in series with R2 and replaced my, you can clearly see here, I have replaced my source V1 with a simple wire, meaning that I have short circuited it. Alright, so turning on the supply, let's see as to how much current we are getting. So we are getting approximately 12.7 milliampere. Let us note it down. So it came around 12.7 milliamperes. Alright, so the experimental procedures are complete. Let us now see as to what we have concluded from here. Okay, so this was my current when I turned on both the voltage sources. So according to superposition theorem, this current would be equal to the algebraic sum of currents flowing through that branch by considering only one source at a time. Meaning that if I add these two columns, it should come equivalent to 22.1. So let us add these two values and it would come approximately around 22.2 milliampere. So my value which I have received after adding up those two values, I am getting it 22.2 milliampere. So I can clearly say that these two values are equivalent with each other, meaning that my superposition theorem has been verified.